It's just that it's too high, so I have to.
Oh.
So
Okay.
I got to figure it out
Okay.
next time.
Okay. You gonna leave this open to us so I can yell, nobody else.
Okay.
Okay, you're live. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Good evening and welcome to the Senior Liaison meeting for Monday, December 28th. Public comments is a section of the meeting specifically set aside for public comments. Just before the meeting, we checked and there was nobody in the queue for public comments. So moving forward, we did not have a meeting in the month of November. So approval of October's meeting minutes.
Motion to approve October's meeting minutes.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of approving October's meeting minutes?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. Town manager's report on community senior center project. John, you're up.
Thank you. Not much has changed. They're still nearing completion of their roof installation. They're working on the soil preparation and compaction for the paved areas, probably that parking lot out front. The ductwork has been delivered and it's being installed now. They're framing the interior walls. The mason work continues. They did install the movable partition tracks for the big room there, drawing a blank. And then they're working on the ceiling right now. So they're pretty much inside. I think it's pretty much buttoned up. They got heat and so on. So they're moving forward on the interior work right now.
Any questions for John?
Did they give you any estimated completion date? Are they still on track or?
No date yet. They're maybe 2 weeks behind with some of the delays associated with the moving of the generator and some of the drainage issues. But they're still shooting for that, I guess, June, July time period, hopefully.
Okay, thank you.
John, they haven't mentioned anything about difficulties at this point securing supplies? Because I know that's been an issue with a lot of construction projects.
Yeah, I don't think it's become an issue yet, but now they're getting into more of the interior materials, so they could become more of a problem going forward. But I think for some of the stuff that they were doing outside in the soil, it seemed like it was, basically the cement and the steel came in on time. So
okay,
I think we may see some delays going forward because of the number of items we need for the interior.
okay. Thank you, John. Missy or Denise, senior center staff update.
On the senior center, the Medicare open enrollment that had closed on December 7th, had received a lot of calls asking different questions, whether they should change or stay the same. I had to meet with about 8 of them that they needed to change. It was getting too expensive for them. And then also I had 5 new seniors that were just turning 65 and had to get into, learning the process of how to get the Medicare A, B, and D. So that went well. Also, the exercise programs are still doing well. We're going to be starting up in January for another session. And we got a new teacher, Tom Cushings, to do our Tai Chi, because a lot of the seniors are asking for the Tai Chi to come back. And our instructor that we had felt that she didn't feel comfortable doing it on Zoom, so, which understands. So once we're reopened again, Martha will be coming back, but Tom is like the guru of Tai Chi. He teaches all the instructors around this area. So I felt honored that he wanted to teach in Rocky Hill. All the programs that we offered, the educational and the informational programs, were well received for the month of December. We had financial, and then the Central Connecticut State University had different programs. Frank Sinatra at 105. And there, it was all in the, and deconstructing the civil rights movement. And then tonight is their last one for December, is Imagining the World Anew. And I've been sending out emails for friendly reminders if anybody's interested in a free, they're all free events. So the only sad news is that AARP tax help is on hold. So a lot of our seniors rely on this service, but because of the pandemic, they are putting it on hold to see when it'll be safe for everyone to do, along with the driver safety online courses. We did our first special project for the seniors to get involved, where they picked up wooden snowman ornaments and put them together, along with the gingerbread. There was 3 different types of gingerbread felt ornaments. So well received. Got them all done. We got 60 wooden snowmen and 36 of the gingerbread. And we decorated a tree to be part of the mayor's challenge. Even though it was not edible, it was something different, and they really enjoyed doing it. So we decided to come up with another project, this time to honor our veterans at Valentine's Day. So we'll be putting that out to pick up 2 different types of kits. And that's it for me.
Questions for Denise?
Yeah, I kind of brought it up in an email. Is it possible maybe for the January meeting or the February meeting, if we could get like either a spreadsheet or something with obviously the current programs that you're doing, any pre-COVID programs, just so we can see where the gaps are, what time periods maybe we don't have a programming, what group of seniors we don't have programming, just to kind of to visualize it. I learn better when I visualize things. So, but just something like that.
I will do my best to try to have it for the end of January for our next meeting. If I find that I'm running into any issues, I will definitely send out an email saying that I'm not ready for it, and we'll be ready for February, but I will shoot for January.
Okay, that's perfect. Just to help us in planning for new programming, where the gaps are, and that, I think it'll be great. Yeah, if you can do it for January, great. If not February, we still have time to plan things out. That would be fine.
Just want to throw in there, not to interject, but to let you know, Mimi, that Parks and Rec and Library are meeting. We're coming up with a huge spreadsheet amongst the 3 of us to map out ideas and programs that we have going forward. So January is our next meeting. I know Nick over in Parks and Rec has put together a huge Google spreadsheet that all 3 departments will be color coded. So we're in the process of meeting and doing that, but that is not complete yet. So we're working on that. We haven't even plugged in the new ideas or whatnot. So it probably won't be ready by the end of January because we haven't all plugged in our things yet, but certainly by February, we'll have a good draft of what we're looking to put in there. If that's, it sounds very much like what you're asking for, and we're in the midst of working on that.
I mean, if we want, we can, I'm okay with waiting for February for that, but I just want to be able to see, because some of our programs obviously are going to overlap because we will have some intergenerational things. So that if we want to wait for that, I'm okay with that. I just wanted to have something that we have some time
Yeah,
to.
that's sort of what we've been trying to work on together within the 3 departments to eliminate any overlap and to make sure that we're filling all those gaps. So before we even put it out to anybody else, just to let you know, we are working on that, meeting on a monthly basis and kind of coming up with a plan to lay everything out. And then with the gaps on that schedule, Denise and I have been working on a list of new programming and new ideas that we can potentially plug in. And from there, the idea on a very broad general basis to let you know is to then start to reach out and research where we can get instructors or where we can seek out what we need in order to plug those programs in. So we are all working in the process of creating that spreadsheet amongst ourselves. But we haven't quite done it yet. And I want to make sure that Parks and Rec is able to put in. There are things, library, for instance, I know library did movies in the past in the basement. That will obviously be moved over to a new room with the audio equipment and the big screen and all of that. So that's why we're all working together to eliminate that, but we'll certainly be happy to share it. But it's in the works, but I'm not sure it'll be done by the end of January.
I'm fine with if you think it'll be February, I'm fine with
Well,
waiting.
we're meeting again in January. I just got an email from Nick with the holidays and the rotating staff. It's been very, very difficult. But Mary and I both did separate Gmail accounts to accommodate this spreadsheet and all that. So we're making progress on that.
I mean, I don't want to have Denise doing, I should talk to see what Ed and Alan think, but I don't want to have Denise doing something they're already doing. That doesn't make sense to.
Right. So each one of the departments is going to sit down. Denise and I have already met a couple of times and started brainstorming ideas, gaps, lists of things. So then once that comes in, I'll sit down with my staff, as will Mary and Craig, and then plug in per department our own color coordinated within our time blocks, because obviously senior center focuses primarily on 9 to 3 during the day. So we'll be filling in all our programming and then allowing library and Parks and Rec to fill in their different time slots. And then we can go back and meet to see what's duplicated and where the gaps need to be filled in. So we're in the process of doing that.
I'm fine waiting. I don't know what Alan and Ed think.
No, if it's on their schedule and they're already working on it, February is fine.
I'm good with February. I mean, January, maybe it's just a draft so we can see how it's coming along.
But they may not even have met.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. February's fine.
No need to create duplication of efforts
Right.
if we don't need to. The one question, I guess, Missy, Denise, I don't know which one would be the right to answer it. I know we have historically had a group of seniors that attended activities. And I know it changes a little bit. Can you kind of give us an idea of how many people may have dropped off or added to different senior programs? I mean, have we lost a big group of the seniors because of COVID, or, and I say lost, I mean, to activities, not lost.
Well, I mean, Denise will be the primary one to answer this. She knows more specifics. I can tell you on the human services side, lost is a hard word because many of them are staying home. We have reached out to many. So for instance, I know off the bat, and again, Denise will be able to jump in and give you more specifics, but the book club has remained intact. I know they're being very creative. They met at the ferry all summer. They've met out in the parking lot, trying to remain, but they remain consistent, that specific group. I know a lot of our seniors that attended the senior center primarily for lunch and bingo. I think their intention is to come back. However, when you say lost, I don't know that they're not any longer members, but certainly a lot of them, we have service, which I can get into as far as what we've done on this side through the holidays a little bit, but a lot of them, we've really upped the numbers on some of the programs or services, I should say, that we're offering in home. So we still have communication with a lot of them. Just it looks different. We're doing a lot of phone communication, delivering of meals and things for holidays. So a lot of check-ins in that sense. I know that Charlene has taken on some seniors that needed shopping and deliveries and things, as this has dragged on longer than I think most of us anticipated initially that it would. So I don't know that I would say lost, but really and truly, unless they're proficient in using a computer, have access to that, or have desire to interact that way, it's been challenging. But Denise did a really great job. That really, we were shocked. I know she had calls from out of town, people from Cromwell wanting to do that, that project. And she worked hard to put those things together and put kits together. And it was really, really well received. I think that it was a really great, not only could they get the kit and do something at home, but then they were donating it back to go to families and other seniors who we were delivering meals to. So it really encompassed a lot. And Denise and I spoke really about keeping that up and trying to do it on a monthly, if not bi-monthly basis to throughout the remainder of this pandemic and as things transition, because it really, so we're trying to be creative to keep people interacting in some way. So I understand your question, but when you say loss, yeah, a lot of it was face-to-face. So for a lot of our seniors, that was the purpose of being there and having communication and just having other people around and getting up and getting dressed to get out. So in that sense, yes, we have, but I know Denise speaks to a lot of them on a regular basis. They call and check in. We drive a lot of them that we, so they remain still going to the store. So we're doing our very best to keep tabs on our seniors that were regulars, and making sure that they're doing well and trying to find other ways to engage them.
And I admit lost was a terrible choice of words for multiple reasons.
No, I understand what you meant, but I hope they're not lost to the senior center. I hope they're all coming back plus some, but it is definitely been a challenge.
Yeah, I guess I was looking at it from participation and everything you read, and not just seniors, is the mental health aspect of COVID, of people basically being stuck in their homes without having somebody to reach out to.
No, we are doing our very best, and I'll let Denise expound upon that. But I can tell you that the efforts we're making here, we have our checklist of seniors. I know we rotate them so that every few weeks they're getting every couple of weeks they're getting a call or a check-in if they're not somebody that utilize the bus or participate in the online programs. So in some capacity, but I know that, for instance, like with that ornament program, Denise got a lot of new seniors that hadn't been part of the senior center reaching out and giving really good feedback. So we're going to try and take that idea and really come up with more things that we can somehow get them interacting even in their home and passing back and forth. Lori continues to send out letters of love, which is from the kids that write letters, and she photocopies. She does a huge mailing every month so that they're getting a piece of mail from some of the kids on updates in the schools. And while I'm talking about that, we had over 70 meals go out, which is double of what we have been doing the last couple of years. So we had a huge group go out on, we had 5 different volunteers with cars full of meals. It was contactless, but everybody was called, and the seniors did a great job. If the senior didn't answer the door, calling here. So like even in that, as an example, we use that as a way to check in and make sure that everybody answered the door or answered the phone when they got their meal. And we're trying to utilize everything we can to document when we speak to a senior, if they have concerns, but just that we talked to them, they were okay, they were doing well. We try to, I know our seniors all our volunteers, offered when they delivered the meals, if they checked in and said, is there anything else you need? Is there anything you need us to report back? Can we do things? So we're really trying to slow down on the phone and take our time to make sure that we're kind of checking in every time we have some form of contact, which seems to be working well. I guess working well is the best way I can put it.
And Missy, those
just
meals
to
were
add-
Christmas Eve meals?
Christmas Eve meals that went out.
Christmas Eve,
Yes.
okay.
Most of them were also Thanksgiving meals, but that was for any resident that was alone. But I would say probably 95% of those were for seniors or disabled that were not leaving their homes and didn't have a place to go. So they received a catered meal. Denise we put together the bags, and Denise had some of the ornaments that were made by other seniors that had donated them back. They went in the bags. We had a group of kids that made pot holders through the library, their volunteer group. They made little pot holders that went in the bags as gifts. Denise also had worked with, I think it was the Atrium, who
Yes.
made gingerbread cookies, and each one was put in a bag, a really cute decorated big gingerbread cookie that went in the bag with the meal. So we really tried to, and I know the phone was ringing right after some of them had gotten their meals by the volunteers, saying, like, some of them in tears, talking about how nice it was to have a little gift, a message, a reminder. So that I know also Denise did, she's not touting herself, but I'm going to here in this moment, because she had volunteers who did a huge stack of Christmas cards. So she was able to get those out to seniors and dropped them off at the Housing Authority. So each member of the Housing Authority received a signed Christmas card that were all handmade, by the way, not bought. They were handmade Christmas cards with all kinds of cute decorations and happy holidays, and they were signed and delivered at the Housing Authority. So I would say that there has been a lot of effort made all through specifically this month, but we learned a lot about getting creative about ways to make contact and certainly getting ideas on what we can do going forward and getting us through the rest of the winter to make sure that we're contacting or in contact with seniors at home, regardless of what their age or ability or interest is. You know, if they're not participating, we're still at least checking in.
And just to add on to Missy, what she said, we also have a group of seniors that help us do the calling too. And if there's any issues, they get back to us. And then we call them to see what if they haven't heard or, they've been trying. So I think we've really been doing, I think for all this whole department, doing a good job in trying to keep up with this pandemic and make sure that hopefully nobody falls through the cracks.
Ed, I think you had a question.
Yeah, I really like the notion of a check sheet or keeping track. So, in the last time you talked to somebody and if they were in good spirits or bad spirits, or if they asked for help or got some specialized help. I mean, I got to think that sounds like a great thing to do, that we should be doing that.
Yep.
Thank you.
It sounds like you guys have some great programs and outreach going on, which is what we need during this time.
And I'm guessing I'm going to throw another little plug out there, because in that with the storm, we worked with the OEC and emergency response to update our homebound list as well. So any senior that is out there that is homebound, that is on oxygen, in a wheelchair, has mobility issues, or would be in trouble if they lost power and was not prepared and really would need emergency services, if they're on oxygen, any of those things, we have them on a list. So we do maintain a constant list that we're always updating, and we do provide that to when there's an upcoming storm or even if it, God forbid, it were last minute, but we can get it out to fire department, to police department, town manager. Anybody has access to know where we can dispatch, along with our own staff and the transportation coordinator. So she's aware. So we are working on that as well. So that's a different list, not necessarily some of the programs, but we do maintain that as well in town. So
on that note, Melissa, I'm thinking of the upcoming. So the town's going to be doing a pop-up testing center, and that'll be announced. But John, Mayor might have more to say on this. But the vaccination part of the next step, right? So your list might be very valuable of who got one, who didn't, who can get one, who wants one. Right. To communicate that to emergency management through John, I think.
Well, the vaccinations is sort of in Connecticut, central Connecticut health districts right now. We are working on sent out the list for fire, police, and ambulance for vaccination, the first round. But we'll take our lead from health district, and I guess whatever the batting order is, we'll follow that. Hopefully we'll get the first responders done in January, and then move on from there. And then I'll just jump ahead that we do have 2 tentative dates set up for the pop-up testing, COVID testing at Elmridge Park. It's going to be January 12th and January 25th. I think the 12th is a Tuesday and the 25th a Monday.
Do you have times on those, John? Is it all?
No, not yet. We just coordinated a date with them, and they're supposed to be working with Rich and Craig
Okay,
and so on. So the more we learn, but we think those are good dates going forward.
Very good. And the next bullet item on our agenda was coping through the pandemic, and I think we may have incorporated a lot of that. But if there's more to add, please, let me know, or let us know.
the only thing that I would add for whoever is listening is, regardless of how minor you think the issue is, it's helpful for us to just pick up the phone and give us a call and ask, because there is no such thing as too minor of a problem, whether it be just being lonely, or you're projecting that you may have a problem with transportation, or you're concerned about your neighbor, or any of those issues. I know with the cold weather snap, with the holidays and mental health, and with all of that right now, our department, tends to see a lot, but a lot of people, I think, struggle and don't want to burden us. And so call very last minute, which can make it difficult for us to access other resources because of closures for holiday and COVID. So I would encourage any resident who there is no such thing as too small of a problem. So please, please, please reach out. We are here. Staff is here. Regular business hours. We're available after hours to help get you resources, whatever it is we can do. So please do not hesitate if you are concerned, in trouble, need help, just need somebody to talk to, need resources. That's what we're here for. So I just want to make sure that message gets out, that it is not a bother. It is what we do and what we're here for. And it helps us to get ahead of whatever we can get ahead of. Don't wait till the last minute if you can help it.
Ed, go ahead.
Yeah, on that topic of coping, so I was looking for an assessment from you or Denise. Are we seeing seniors in distress? I mean, at the end of their rope, or completely frustrated on a phone call? I mean, is the level of anxiety high? Everybody's lonely and all that kind of stuff, and if that's manageable, it's it's just in there as part of the normal delivering of services. But are you seeing a heightened anxiety level? Is it all, or are they doing really well? Are they coping well? I mean, do we have a sense of our senior population?
I can tell you for our department, the numbers are really astonishing on how many people are struggling. Now, I say that because obviously everybody copes differently. So for those who have family or grown children in the area and things, I think it's been wonderful. Our transportation coordinator spends a lot of time checking in and talking to people on the phone and making sure they get out for their groceries. And we have encouraged seniors as well. Things like, if you normally go to the grocery store once, maybe go twice if you feel well enough, because we've limited numbers on the bus. Get outside and take a walk. I know Denise has included things in emails and when talking to people, but in general, Ed, the numbers are astonishing on how many are struggling. It's, like I said, it's a perfect storm right now, because this time of year for seasonal depression, holiday depression, COVID exhaustion and fatigue, the cold weather snap and socioeconomic struggles, unemployment, even things that I think a lot of people don't think of, but for our seniors who are worried about their grown children, if they're, furloughed or unemployed, and their grandchildren who aren't in school. And so it was very nice to see during the holidays that so many people were able to access Zoom and other things. But yes, it's concerning. When I speak to my peers in other towns, they're all reporting the same thing. So it's really, we keep telling everybody hang in there, and thank goodness for this vaccine. I think that is at least a light at the end of the tunnel that's a little tangible that we can see and sort of rely on. But the COVID fatigue is a very real, very concerning thing. And I think for all age groups, but we're talking seniors specifically. And I think even for those with mobility issues, because at least for the rest of us, and I know on the therapy side, I can say to people, go out and walk around your block or even in your yard if you're not, for a senior who has mobility issues, that's difficult. You can't have them open the window to get some fresh air if it's freezing cold outside. So it really, even as therapists, we struggle to come up with coping strategies that can be applied sometimes. So it is frustrating, but I am happy to report that most of our seniors, and Denise, again, jump in if you need to, but most of our seniors that we deal with here in town, we have very, very good relationships with. And pretty constant communication. And we do have a lot of them that call on a regular basis, just to chat, just to check in. We've encouraged communities and neighborhoods to work with systems, come up with systems, which a lot of our volunteers have done, such as leave your light on at night. And when you get up in the morning, turn the light off. That indicates to your neighbor that you're up and you're safe and you're moving and you're happy. A lot of younger kids in the neighborhood have taken our suggestion and gone just and picked up the newspaper in the driveway and put it up next to the door for seniors. Things that are little but make a difference. Just some sort of waving through the door. If you have a glass screen door, and try and stand in the window for a few minutes if the sun is hitting and wave at somebody. Just sometimes even just seeing somebody walk by and a hand gesture such as a wave makes a big difference to not feel quite so alienated and ostracized from the rest of the world. So yeah, it really is not a great thing to see, Ed, in general, and it's sort of heartbreaking and very concerning, but I'm hoping that we're nearing the end of it at least, and we can continue to learn every day that goes by what works, what doesn't, and get creative and do the best we can and hang in there.
It almost seems like we have to find a way to get some laughter and make them laugh.
I would agree with you.
And I think to that, so few of the older friends that I have, they're alone.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I mean, I have my husband and my son, so, I'm fine. And I'm just trying to, pick up the phone and talk to them, or, bring over, I made a cake, here's a slice of cake, or just something just to let them know that people are thinking about them.
Right. Agreed.
Missy, just I guess towards the back end of it, the light at the end of the tunnel, the vaccine is out.
Right.
Do we, and I know the Central Connecticut Health District will probably play a big role in this. Is there any talk about a facility for our seniors to be able, so the town could assist in the vaccination process, providing a location or?
I think when the vaccines become available, then we're going to let the health district reach out. Certainly, we have told them that we're here to provide support. So whatever that means, if that means that we have to schedule extra buses with 1 or 2 people at a time just to get them back and forth to the testing site or to the doctor's office to get the vaccination. I'm not quite sure. The health district has reported they're not sure what that will look like yet until they have, a stockpile or in a position. And so we're following their lead, but we're certainly available to help in whatever capacity. So whether that's taking calls, providing lists, providing transportation for people to get it homebound that can't get out, but to get the vaccine, I think in the next few weeks, Alan, that will become a little bit more clear, but that really is the medical side of things, but we're here for whatever support that looks like. I know all the other towns are not quite there yet either. And obviously the 4 towns with our health district are sort of waiting for Charlie Brown to sort of take the lead and say, this is what I need, and this is when we're ready to go. So.
Okay. So we're working on a plan for when that comes.
I think one of the ideas are asking if they could use our firehouses as a drive-through.
Okay.
And most likely the best one to be the one right over here. It's at Fire Station 1. It's not on the main street, so it could handle traffic backup. But I think they're looking to do something like that so that if they're doing it in the cold weather, they're in some sort of enclosure. That's one thought.
Great. I mean, I think that's the light at the end of the tunnel that everybody's waiting for. The step towards getting back to normal.
Yes.
All right. Any other questions on the senior staff update? All right. So let's jump ahead. Do we have a senior task force update, or are they still not
We're
meeting?
still not meeting.
Okay. New business approval of 2021 meeting schedule.
Yeah, because we didn't have the meeting in November. We just need to follow the same schedule we did for 2020. The last Monday, fourth Monday of the month at 5 o'clock. And
So are you making a motion to amend this one?
no, just approve it.
Motion to approve the 2021 schedule as in our packet.
Well, second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye, motion carried 3-0. Anything for other?
No.
I just want to throw out 4 other, I mean, we kind of bypassed a little bit when Mimi was asking for the schedule, but sort of just jumping back a little bit. And now we're talking about not getting able to get out of the house very much, but this has sort of put the bug in seniors' ears. We, in this process of the library and Parks and Rec and Human Services all meeting, talking about programs, there is going to be a need for volunteers. We really did not get many surveys back, and I know that there was a question on there as far as if they were willing, senior had a talent or time, but running the cafe and maybe monitoring the exercise room along with special talents or any of those things as we are starting to plan, it's a bigger center. With more rooms, more capability, but with that, we don't have way more staff yet. And so it's going to be imperative that we start to work as a community to come up with volunteers that are willing to step up and help us run things, because that's really going to be the only way for us to pack a schedule and have the volume of programming and availability that we all want and we've all worked very hard to get to. So it's early still in the game, but I just wanted to put out there that that's going to be something as we're looking at programming that we're going to have to start to incorporate. So getting the message out and maybe getting seniors thinking about any specific talents or things that you want to help with, and everything from, again, maybe being a greeter in the lobby or helping direct people or running, just being part of a walking club, or, if you're a senior who has been down there and are familiar with the way things are run, we are going to be implementing, a registration so that we have information on every senior with a key tag so that they can be self-sufficient. So, somebody that may want to help us get that completed with a senior who may not be able to see very well. I mean, there's a ton of things that we are going to need, but I just want to start, and I'm probably going to put that out there every meeting we have going forward, because that will sneak up on us. But in order to make all of these programs work, we're going to have to tap into volunteers.
They wouldn't necessarily have to be seniors if there are
No.
other people who may have a day off during the week or something that could.
Your community center. So that's more Parks and Rec that speaks on the community center side, but I know that Craig feels the same way because we've talked about it. So, that cafe is going to be there regardless of timing. So I know the town managers put some thought already into town staff that can help rotate, but in order to have, when you take a look at the span of when this center will be open to the community, it's a lot of days, 7 days a week, certain hours, or at least 6 days a week. And, when it's open at 8 a.m. and not potentially closing till late at night for some of Parks and Rec programs, we're going to need some help, because there's just not going to be immediately enough staff to cover everything. So, and I think it's important in order for it to be successful, for it to be, take ownership as residents in, this is our place to take care of and use and be proud of. So I just want to put that out there before we get to the soft opening and all that, when we're scrambling to start thinking about anybody or anything. And I'm hoping as people can get out and get vaccines and want to get out of the house, that'll be enticing and something that we can really find a good fit for what people want to do, or, what they'd like to participate in. We've had a tremendous, really a tremendous turnout of volunteers for a lot of different things, for meal deliveries, for, monetary donations, for the ornaments, all kinds of things. So I'm hoping we can keep it going. I just want people to start thinking about the new center and programs and things, because we will need volunteer help.
I'm thinking some of the civic groups might be good targets.
Missy, along those lines, will you be creating I guess maybe digital is not the right answer here, but a way people can sign up and put their name in, so we could start developing that database?
Yeah, I think, Alan, as soon as the three departments kind of come up with that initial schedule and probably run it by the town manager and some other things, that it starts to look, something that we can at least start with, a good baseline, if you will.
Mhm.
Then we'll probably come up with something where we can plug in specifics. Because like I said, there was on the survey that one line, but that wasn't well responded to. So I'm hoping that maybe even something on the web page, or they can call up, or something very simplistic. Because if it's complicated, I understand everybody's busy and don't want to do anything real specific or lengthy. But if we can start to, but we will do something with different areas of volunteerism, and when people are available, we'll start to put that together when we have some specifics.
Okay, and I'll make sure to mention that at our next council meeting as
That
well,
would be
to
helpful.
get it out.
Yep, great.
And the other item, just to note that you mentioned, the AARP is holding off on tax help because I guess they do that in person. Is that the
Yes.
reason?
Yeah, we do it, starts in February, and it goes until the Monday before taxes are due. And they see about 40 people every Monday.
Okay. I'll just
And
reach out to the Connecticut Society of CPAs, because they also do an outreach program, and just find out if they're still running theirs
Okay, well,
during COVID. They may or may not be able to take on additional people at that point, but I'll at least reach out and report back
Okay.
next month.
thank you.
Okay, anybody else have anything for other?
Just everybody have a happy, safe New Year's.
I
Same to
second
you.
Second that.
All right, do we have a motion to adjourn then?
Motion to adjourn.
Second,
All in favor?
aye.
Aye. Everybody have a happy new year.
Yep.
Happy New Year.
Thank
New
you.
Year.